Let's make a house box for either a closing gift or a housewarming gift. Let's get into it.
From paper to purpose, watch her design. Wendy's creative designs, one of a kind. Cut, fold, turn dreams to life. Stay for the story behind every design.
Okay, we're going to start off with the two sides, okay? There is a right and a left for these here, okay? The short sides are going to go in the front of the house, and the longer sides of the arch in the roof is going to go on the back of the house. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it and put it on some chipboard. The chipboard I am using is a 80 PT, okay? So now you're going to cut it. And when you cut it, you're going to leave at least an inch on each side of just cardboard. The top arch, cut that all the way off. You do not need it, all right? So we're going to do this on both sides, you know, kind of like how we do the perfume boxes and all that other stuff. So I'm cleaning up that arch a little bit. So now I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. So I had to go grab some more chipboard, but I was sizing it up and I wanted to make sure that I had the same side, didn't have the same sides, okay? I wanted to make sure I had a right and a left. Not a right and a right or a left and a left. And I was getting confused, so I had to flip it over just to see, and I was right, okay? So, anywho, you're going to have a right side and a left side. The short and the long. And it'll make sense to you once we start putting it together. So, I'm doing the same thing. We're going to apply the sheet, and we're going to cut it out. We're going to leave 1 inch worth of chipboard on each side, and we're going to cut that arch completely out clean, okay? And clean it up real good. Okay, now we're going to move on to the front panel. Okay, so listen, I did the most on this. Don't even follow that part. What you're going to do is you're going to cut out your window, okay? Cut your window out completely. I like to splice it and then cut it out. I was trying something different here. Don't disregard. Just cut your window out plain, normal, all right? All the way around your front and your bottom. Now, the bottom has these flowers that, you know, trickle out into the window. I just cut it straight across. The flowers are still there, still be pretty, but I'm not doing all that little fancy cutting in between them flowers and stuff, okay? So then after I do that, I'm going to put it on this 80 chipboard, all right? And then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace out my window on this chipboard. Now, the reason for doing that is because this chipboard is so thick, y'all. It's thicker than a snicker, and it is really hard to cut through, and I don't want to mess around and damage my print by trying to cut it the other way. So I'm drawing my line on both sides of the house and in the two boxes and the bottom. So when I'm ready to place it back on the chipboard, I can just place it on the drawing that I put on the chipboard, if that makes any sense. Okay. So again, I traced around the two sides and the inside of the windows. That's it. I ain't traced the entire house on here. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is just start cutting my window out. So I kept checking back and forth with the front panel to make sure that they're matching up like they should and that you can't see the chipboard in between the window spaces there. Then you're going to take your time and match your panel onto the chipboard the best that you can. Slowly, of course, and just making sure that the windows line up with the cutout that you did, okay? Get it all the way down to the bottom. Press it down really nice and firm. Make sure you don't have any bubbles, any lumps, or any of that good old stuff, all right? Then just cut out what you need to cut out so it's clean and neat. Flip it over on the other side and get all the sticky paper out that you see hanging over. Now you're going to cut your sides out. Here, you're going to cut the actual front all the way out. You're not going to leave no extra anywhere, okay? So cut all the way around the perimeter of your house. Once you cut all the way around the house, make sure that you do clean up. We always do clean up. So make sure if you got anything hanging over, especially if you're using this 80p chipboard, you're going to have some cleanup. Okay. And, go ahead on and just, you know, clean up your edges, your sides, so nothing is hanging over. So it'll be a nice, you know, finish whenever you get ready to add your other pieces onto the front part of the house. Now let's do the roof pieces. Okay, your roof pieces, your back roof piece is going to be a 15 in width, 4.5 in height. Your front piece is going to be a 15 in width, 4 4 inches in height. Okay. Now the wrap is going to be bigger than that. All right. Because you want to wrap your roof. Okay. So that's what we're doing right here. We're taking both of those, and the wraps that are provided, you can wrap them. You just lay your, sheets down on it, those measurements that I just gave you, and stick it on the sticky paper and cut your corners. Cut all 4 corners like we always do, okay, into a square like that there on each side, and then you can fold it down, and that will complete both of your roofs, because you need both of them covered up so they'll be ready to go whenever you're ready to build your house. Okay, so that's what we did with those two. Very simple. Those are very easy. Now we're going to work on the bottom of the house. Now you're going to take your inserter. Okay, it's supposed to be a 15 in width and a 7 in height. All right, and then you're going to put your wrap on it, and we're going to just wrap it up. And the wrap is going to be way bigger, of course. That's what we want. This is going to go inside of the house. Okay, this is going to allow you to have a shelf inside of it. Now, like I said, you could just take this little sticky paper, because it's going to be bigger than that, and lay it on top. And you're going to do the same thing that you did with the other, the roof. That's what I'm trying to say. You're going to do the same thing that you did with the roof. Okay. You're just going to wrap it. Now we're going to grab another sheet that looks exactly like the one we just used. Okay. We're going to have to get another piece of, what is it? Chipboard. Man. Anywho, another piece of chipboard. And what we're going to do is we're going to place this one here on this chipboard, and except this one here, we're going to leave some chipboard on it. Okay. So you see how I left that like 1 inch on that part. Okay. And then I'm going to leave 1 inch on the other side, all the way around the perimeter of this. We're going to leave 1 inch. Okay. If you leave a little more, it ain't going to hurt a thing. Okay. After you do that, we're going to splice these sides, and so we can fold them, because this is going to be the bottom of the house. All right. Then you're going to fold them to get them to go in the direction that we want them to go. And then you're going to cut those squares out in all 4 corners like we always do. We do this on everything, right? So, of course, we're going to do it on this here as well. So once you go around this box and get all of those 4 corners done, then go on and cut your slants. Okay. Cut some slants in every single corner, just to make this installation just a little bit easier when we put it together. Okay, let's begin building the house. Okay, so first, I'm just sizing it up right here, right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead on and glue the sides on before we even bother trying to put this front on. Okay, so we're going to take our 2 sides, and we're going to end up gluing them to the bottom. Okay, kind of like how we did the perfume bottles and all that other stuff, right? So the little flap. Okay. Go on and cut you the little side, what are we calling those? The slits, okay? So just cut angles on both sides of each one to make it easier when it lays, okay? Now you can lay it flat, put all your glue on it. Please be careful not to get burnt from the lava. And then bump your side up against it and just lay it flat, all right? And then press, and always fold it to make sure that you did not glue your fold down, okay? You're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Make sure you cut the slashes on the ends first. All right. And then go ahead on and apply it to your bottom. Same way. And then you're going to check and see if you glued it correctly and did not glue your sides together where you can't fold your box. All right. So you always check that every time you glue something, just to be on the safe side. I'm telling you, it's just best to be safe than sorry. All right. Now, after you've done that, I would suggest, you don't have to, but I do. I like to put some reassurance strips in there. Okay. And what you're going to put it on is the piece that you just connected, the 2 pieces you connected. Now, I'm not saying that it'll come apart, but I'm not saying that it won't come apart. So we're not going to take any chances. I like using the chipboard instead of the brown chipboard. That's a little too thick. I'm going to use a little thinner chipboard, and I'm just going to run it across there, a nice amount of glue, and lay it on there. And I'm going to do it on both of those. And then we're going to keep it moving. We already have our security strips on both sides. Okay. Now, this is something you can do by choice, not by force. Okay. Just letting you know that this is something that I would do if I were you. Okay. So once we got those on and we are good to go, now we are ready to put our front panel on. Okay. So when you put the front panel on, remember I told you there is a right side and a left side. Well, this is what I mean by the right side and the left side. The front angles at the roof, there's a short side and then there's a little longer side. The short side is for the front of the box. Part I'm showing you right now. That is the front. Okay. So that's the side you want to make sure that you glue the front on. The longer side, the 4.5 is for the back. If you're not sure, just measure it before you glue it down, just to be on the safe side. Okay. So I'm still going to lay this down flat like I did the perfume bottles. And I'm still going to glue it the same way I did the perfume bottles. I just want to let you know that the front, the short sides go to the front first. If you look at how this looks right now, you can tell that the two sides are in the front or short. I know that don't make sense, but if you really look closely, you can tell where I'm showing you at. Okay? So now you just add a strip of glue right along that, and then we're going to go ahead on and press the panel down on it. Really, really good. And every time you lay a bead of glue, make sure you flip it over. Make sure you also fold it to make sure that it folds. And I can say that over 1,000 times. Just make sure that it folds. You can also put a reassurance strip right there too if you want to, but I don't feel a need to have one there. Okay. So now we have it, our two sides on, our bottom on. Now we're going to glue our sides to the front of the house, which is going to be pretty simple. Okay. Just grab the glue gun and just run you a nice little stream of glue along one side at a time. Do not do both sides at the same time. One side at a time. And once you run your stream of glue, just press. Raise it up. Make sure that it is even on the other side before you completely, glue it all the way down. Kind of like how I'm doing it. You see how I'm looking at it, making sure if any glue is sticking out to take it off, all that good stuff. Okay. And then just press it down. Now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And make sure you just take your time with this and just make sure you glue it down really, really good. Okay. Make sure that it is on good. All right. On both sides. Just make sure you apply the pressure that you need and you're checking and make sure that your sides are seamless. Okay. That's all you have to do. Nothing more, nothing less. Press, and you're good to go. Okay, and so once you've done that, see, she's already looking good, and we're only halfway there, but she's looking good. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead on and continue what I was telling you to do. So now what we're going to do is we need to add our windows in. So what I'm thinking is you can add a whole window in here, or you can add one piece at the bottom and one at the top. What I'm going to do is add one piece at the bottom and one at the top. The reason for this is because I'm going to add that inserter in there like I told you guys, and I don't want the window to be in its way whenever I add it, if that makes any sense at all. So the thing I'm going to do first is I'm going to add the bottom piece. I'm just going to cut me out a small bottom piece like this here, and then I'm going to glue it down, and then we're going to continue. Okay, so now we're going to apply that other piece that we did earlier, the other piece that we just randomly cut. Yeah, that's the inserter part of this part right here. Now, we already know it is a 15 by 7, right? And the house is a 15 by 7, but it is too wide. Okay, so what we're going to have to do, and I was checking it to make sure. So what we're going to have to do is just eyeball it and cut it down as we slide it in there, as we prefer it to fit. Okay. So this is something you would have to figure out on your own on how you want it to fit in there. So you see how it's bending? That's because I forced it in there. Plus it's too tall because I can't lay it flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim a little bit off the side to get it to fit. And then I'm going to trim a little bit off the other side to get the other part to lay. So I'm trimming the side first. And then I'm just going to gauge it again, stick it in there again until it just fits the way I want it to fit. And this is something that has to be preference. Okay. You see how I'm also placing it above that window where I'm not touching the window piece that's in it? That's what I was talking about. I do not want that piece to be laying on top of that window piece. Okay. So now I'm getting ready to trim off a little bit of the length of it. Okay. Because I can't lay my flaps down and that would be a problem. So I'm just cutting off a smidgen. I mean, really a hair. If you look, you can see it's just a hair. And then I'm going to try it again. And then once I try it again this time, of course, it's going to work because it fits like a glove. Okay. So that's why you only do a little bit at a time. You see how I'm holding those other pieces down? That's also going to help reassure that it stays in place, which I love. Okay. So now that we done got the size right, what we're going to have to do now is add the glue. All right. So where we're going to add the glue is right there along where my hand is going. And then we're going to do the two side walls and we're going to do the lip of it next. Okay. So I'm sizing it up again to make sure this is how I want it to fit. And then I'm going to go ahead on and apply the glue. So when I apply the glue, I'm only going to apply it to the line at the bottom right across. Okay. And then I'm going to only do one side. All right. And then after I get that line at the bottom, that one side, I'll do the other side. So I don't want to do all of it at once. So I'm just going to, my head's all in the camera. I'm sorry, y'all. And so, and then I'm just going to hold it down, find something to clean off the extra glue that might be seeping out. And there will be some because I put it on mighty heavy. Then I'm adding that little flap down and holding that. Okay. Once that flap is secure, then I can go over here onto the other side and glue that side of the wall, which I'm doing now. And then add the glue to the little flap as well. Okay. So I don't have to give all my attention to one side. And then you just hold that until it stays in place as well. Okay. After you do that, that first part is already on. You got to make sure you put enough glue to hold it down in there and also make sure that glue don't fall. Okay. So here's the thing. You want to make sure that holds your product very well. We're going to add another insert piece in here. We're not decorating it or anything because it's just really going to be a holder. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a 7x7 piece of chipboard and we're going to nicely slide it in that groove where the door is because nothing is there. Okay. And we're going to do it the same exact way that we just did that one piece that we have there. The great thing about adding this 7x7 piece is it just gives it so much more stability, okay? It helps a lot, believe it or not. And then you still can glue those flaps down on both sides of the 7x7, which makes it kind of flush, okay? And so as we continue to do this and I turn my box, it goes downhill from here. Literally. So after all the commotion, now I'm trying to get my camera right so I can continue on with this video. Okay. So after that, now what we have to do now is glue the little corners down on this house box. Okay. And I'm trying to make sure that you guys can see what I'm trying to show you. So you see how I'm holding that flap right there? I'm going to take and add some glue on that end and just glue it together. And then I'm going to do that on the other end as well. And just hold both of those down, making sure all parts are secured. Okay, so now it is time to add the other piece of the window. We're going to put the top part of the window in first. And we're going to go and glue that down, making sure that it is secured like it's supposed to be now that we have our little shelving in. And it is. So now it's time to put the roof on. So now we're going to apply the front piece first, which is the smaller part, which is the 4x15. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay the box down and we glue it down to that little strip. And we're going to do that first before we glue the two sides together. Okay. Then just lay it on it right there and apply pressure and press. Okay. And that's before we lay the two sides down. We're just trying to press that down. Make sure you get all the glue that might be hanging away from it, okay? Now that we have that on, now you can glue your two sides. You can't see me doing it on that side, but I'm doing it. And then I'm also wiping away the glue that is not needed. And then I'm just going to flip it over, and y'all see me. I'm going to do the same thing on this side and just glue that strip and then press it down, and press it down. Okay. So once we got that down and it's good and it looks good, don't that look good, y'all? Okay. So now we're going to go on and move to the other side. The other side just slightly different. Okay. So we don't have that to glue it to. So we're going to glue it to the two sides and the other, the roof that we just applied. Okay. So the easiest thing to do is to glue it onto the roof itself instead of trying to glue it to, the box. Okay. It's just easier that way. So you're going to do your two sides and then the top part is going to go on the top of the house. And then we're going to attach it. So once you've gotten the glue on real good, and I don't have a steady hand, so, it's going to be a glue everywhere for me probably. But you see, I'm doing the two sides but I'm not going to do it where my hand is holding it at. Okay. Just the two sides and the top. And we're just going to press it along the top of the box first. And then we're going to press those two sides together. And that's pretty much it. The roof is going to be on. Okay. Pretty much like that. Easy peasy. Okay. So once that dries, you know what we got to do now? We got to do the back. And then we're home free, baby. Okay, so now it's time to work on the back. So the back, we're going to cut the sides off, okay? And we're going to cut all the way around the back first, all right? So once we cut all the way around it, then you probably can't see this, but I'm going to cut where the lines are on here. So you'll be able to see it hopefully after I cut all these side pieces off. So you see that line right there? There's a second line. I'm going to cut in that right there. All right. And then I'm going to cut on the other side as a line right there as well. And then over here where these grooves are, I'm going to cut a line connecting the two. All right. That I just cut. All right. And so after I do that, I'm just trying to cut it out. All right. And again, y'all know how this chipboard is, right? So yeah. I'm going to go and try to cut that out. You notice I did not cut that other end because I'm going to try to make it like a swinging door to open up the back of the house to put the gifts in. Okay. So once I'm able to get inside of it, which I'm almost there, y'all. Okay. Now that I'm inside of it, I'm going to clean it up a little bit, but you see, I'm going to go on the opposite side and just get all those little scragglies off. And then I'm going to do a splice on the opposite side, just a splice where I can fold it. Just a little bit where it will open up. Okay. I don't want to use hinges or none of that stuff. All right. So now what we're going to do is glue it to the back of this box. All right. It has the three sides to glue it, but I think I'm going to build, an upper side also to glue it. I did not glue the upper side to anything, but I prefer to glue it to something. But then the box still opens up like it should. Now I'm just cutting off that trim at the bottom. So it will be pretty much good to go. All right. Get it cleaned up real good. Pretty much. That's all. And as you see now we have an open door back there. So now all you need to do is find you some kind of something to put on there. I just cut off a piece of chipboard and then put some Velcro on the back of the chipboard. I covered the chipboard up with just some black, sticky paper, and I'm sticking the Velcro dot on the house, and then I'm going to stick the other Velcro dot on the black little cardboard that I got that I'm just going to attach to it. Okay. Just to help it, close. That might not be a permanent thing for me. I might even use ribbon instead. I don't know yet, but for the video's sake right now, I'm just going to use the Velcro. And we're going to stick it to the house. And like I said, and we're going to stick it to the bottom of the thing. We're going to add some glue on the other side so it will stay on the box. And then we're pretty much good to go. Well, y'all, here she is. So the ink on this baby, that black, I'm trying to tell you, I might have to add another layer of paper on it because it attracts all fingerprints. Okay. But it's still beautiful nevertheless. And, so this is the box. This is the front and the back. Of course, it has an opening now that you can actually put the gifts in from the back side. I think you guys will like this. It would be great for a housewarming gift, a closing gift. or just a gift in general. Just trying to be creative, and I thought this would be a good look. What do you think? Huh? I thought it was cute. As always, I appreciate you watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you on my next video. And let me know if y'all want me to put this on the stand store or not. It's not on there yet, but let me know. And don't ask me to build it, because that's too much work, y'all. Y'all gonna have to do this one yourself. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.